What is involved in creating a social media budget? When you're creating a social media budget, you need to take into consideration 5 key factors that all go into developing how much you will spend on your social media initiatives. First, you need to consider your human resources. Second, you need to create content, so you need to factor in your content creation costs. Third, you're going to need to pay for social media management software. Fourth, you need to factor in how much you're going to spend on advertisements and promotions. And finally, you need to factor in your training costs. Let's take a look at each of these 5 elements in a little more detail and discuss what's involved with each of them. When it comes to your human resources costs, you're going to have staff to care for the various responsibilities that are associated with caring for and executing on a full-blown social media plan or strategy. Additional to internal resources, you're also going to need to factor in costs for working with external and third-party resources. You may need to engage a digital marketing agency to assist you with creating a strategy. Also, there are costs associated with external resources for augmenting any internal resources that you do not have. When it comes to content creation really is the core of any social media initiative. So you're going to have to pay for writers. You're going to need to factor in costs for graphic design, any photography, whether that's stock photography or custom photography. Also, you're going to have to factor in any cost for production of videos. In order to effectively execute on a social media strategy, you're going to have software that will allow you to scale your social media initiatives. We've discussed already various types of software such as Hootsuite or more in-depth social media management platforms like Radian6. All of those platforms come with an associated cost. Some may be as inexpensive as $5 a month, and they may range into the thousands of dollars per month. You're going to have to evaluate what your internal needs are, and what software will work best for your circumstance. Next, you need to factor in costs for advertising and promotions. Many of the social media platforms do have pay-per-click services where you can boost your social media message. It's important in order for you to get the maximum benefit from these platforms and to cut through the noise and clutter that you will find on social media channels. You're going to have to promote your channels. This may be in order to gain followers, or it may be in order to ensure that you're targeting the message and hitting the right audience at the right time. There are always costs associated with this. The costs associated with advertising may be related to a cost per impression or cost per click. The final element that you have to factor into your social media budget is training. Your internal staff is going to need to understand how to effectively leverage social media, and they're going to need to be trained on an ongoing basis because social media changes so rapidly, it's hard to keep up, and ongoing training is appropriate. In addition to the staff that you have that executes on your social media initiatives, it is also important that you train others within the organization. All members of your organization should have at least a basic understanding and training on what's appropriate and what's not appropriate when the use of social media is involved. Senior leadership should also have training that's related to social media crisis and customer support. So these are the 5 elements that you need to factor into your social media budgets in order to ensure that you're planning to get the most out of your social media initiatives.